Welcome everyone. My name is Charlene Bonnet. I manage the Louisiana department here at the State Library. And we are in our Capitol View room. That is a meeting room, and it's got a beautiful view of the state capitol building. And today, what I'm going to do is to show you some of the items in our collection that are very special. So let's start with the maps. This map is from the 1700s. This map of Louisiana is from 1833. And moving over, we have a large Baton Rouge map from 1916. April 12th, 1916. And it's really interesting because Baton Rouge downtown had different names. And you see that the state capitol's not there yet because it wasn't built until the 1930s. And LSU was down there at that time. We also have many Harper Weekly items in our collection. This is the burning of the old state capitol during the Civil War. One of my favorites is the streetcar in New Orleans. It's from 1854, and it's pulled by horses, and it's more or less a wooden box. We also have a great newspaper collection, and some of our oldest newspapers date to 1803. We collect Louisiana newspapers, but you'll notice that this one is the New York Herald, this one is the New England Palladium, and this one is the New Hampshire Patriot. And the reason that we have those in our collection is they date to 1803 and the Louisiana Purchase. They're discussing the Louisiana Purchase. So those were procured before my time. I started here at the State Library as a reference librarian in the Louisiana department in June of 1998, and I became manager in 2010. The State Library has been in operation since 1925. They were located at the new state capitol building. Then when LSU moved to its present location, they took over the Hill Memorial Library. And then this library was built in the 1950s. And in 1998, June of 1998, they finished the remodel on the building. So this structure's been here since the 1950s. This is one of our prized possessions. It is a French art book that has a bullet hole, and we call this our bullet hole book. The story behind this is that during the Civil War and when the old state capitol was occupied, a Union surgeon was sitting outside his tent surrounded by other people that he was reading, and he was also talking to them. And someone asked him a question, and he put the book against his chest, and a Confederate sniper shot. And if he had not had that book, that bullet would have gone into his heart. But the book saved him, and he said forever after that the love of reading saved his life. And let me show you this. It's pretty fragile. The covers are coming off. But that's the back where the bullet did not penetrate the back cover, and then you can see the bullet went in. And this was donated by the surgeon's family, I think sometime in the 1960s. We also have vertical files. every Louisiana subject you can think of. I think we probably have one of the largest vertical files in the state. I pulled out Baton Rouge, and this is 1925 or 1926 facts about Baton Rouge. They weren't exactly sure of the date, but I wanted you to see this because we have newspaper articles dating back to the 1920s when they started keeping the vertical files when the library started, pretty much. I think that's from 1948. These do not circulate, but we do scan materials from our vertical files for our patrons. We have a huge photograph collection. My staff and I just finished probably about 30,000 photographs that we digitize, and eventually they will be added to our collections in the digital library. The State Library has 3 collections in the digital library: the Louisiana Film Commission images, the WPA images that we have, and the historic photographs of the State Library. And those aren't just photographs of the State Library, that's the rest of our photograph collection. So the the new state capitol that you see right here, that is part of that collection, as are the highway photographs. So this photograph was donated to the collection. It is Huey P. Long's funeral. And you can see so much is no longer there. That's what's so great about these old photographs. You can see what was there long ago. So all of these are flowers and visitors to the funeral, or the lying in state of Huey P. Long. The state capitol was finished in about 1932, and it was an 18-month project, and you can see the girders, and eventually the stone would go up. This image and the next one, no, let's see, this is I've got it one behind the other. This one is the construction for the new bridge. If you've ever been to Baton Rouge and passed over the new bridge, this is the construction for it. And then they still have this part to do. And this is dated August 1966. If you've ever been to Baton Rouge and traveled down Airline Highway to Florida Boulevard, this is the Florida Boulevard Airline Highway Interchange. And this is dated May 1964. And it is so neat to see everything that was around there when they constructed the roadway system. We have, our oldest gumbo is 1902. And then these are just some of the pictures that are in there. So people use these for research. They use them for genealogy if they had an ancestor that was at LSU during that time. This is a 1910 Mardi Gras letter opener that was donated to the collection. We have a huge collection of books. We collect books by Louisiana authors and about Louisiana. So Every Man a King was by Huey P. Long, and this is Catherine Cormier by Ernest Gaines, which is a first edition. We have a good military collection of books, and I always like the ones that give the names of the soldiers because that's what we get a lot of questions on. So these give names of the soldiers and the regiments for the War of 1812 in Louisiana. Records of Louisiana Confederate soldiers and commands list every soldier that served in Louisiana during the Civil War. And it's excellent because it gives a bit about their service history. Encyclopedia of Forts, Posts, Name Camps, and Other Military Installations in Louisiana, 1700 to 1981, is exactly that. It's an encyclopedia of all those forts and posts and name camps. That is, we use that all the time. So a little bit about the State Library. Rebecca Hamilton is the 4th state librarian. She is currently our state librarian. S.A. Culver was the 1st state librarian, and one of S.A.'s goals was to get a public library in every parish. And when they were called demonstration libraries, and when they started their demonstration library, each parish did a scrapbook. So this is Jackson Parish Demonstration Library. This is one of the early ones, 1937 to 1940, but we have some as recent as the 1960s when the last parish library was started. And they did newspaper clippings of their demonstration library when it opened, and they've got telegrams from people congratulating them on opening their library, patrons visiting the library, just different articles that they thought were important to put in the demonstration scrapbooks. And those don't circulate, and we keep the set in our archives in the Louisiana Department. We have city directories, I think from 1803, pretty sure, let me just check. Yes, for New Orleans, 1803 to current, and Baton Rouge, 1902 to current. We do have a photocopy for Baton Rouge of 1899. This is the oldest New Orleans city directory that patrons can access. It is 1886. Well, I say access. We have it out in our circulating area where it's referenced where they can still handle it and use it. The earlier ones are very brittle. This is an 1830, no, I'm sorry. Yes, it is 1830, sorry. It's the 2nd session of the 9th Legislature, State of Louisiana. But we have the, as early as 1803 for our legislative books. But one of the things that's very interesting is one side is English and the other side is French. Now we're going to talk about some of our historical state documents. The State Library is the depository for Louisiana state documents. And this is a Louisiana state document. So we have a Louisiana state documents as early as 1802. And some of the other items we have from 1850. This is the Louisiana Highway Commission, which is now the Louisiana Department of Transportation. It's from the Department of Highways. And these are awesome. If you're interested in early roads, construction, bridges, they're just full of photographs. This is a rural road in Lasalle Parish. I have some of these out just so you can see with the changing times, what was popular in the 30s, the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, you see that reflected in the graphics. We have the Louisiana State Museum report as early as 1906. And they show you some of the exhibits. That was, that's the model of a sugarcane factory. This one is the general view of exhibits in an agricultural department. General view of horticultural exhibits. I love these old annual reports. The Louisiana State University Graduate School Catalog. So we keep all our catalogs, we keep all of our phone books, our city directories, all the state documents, everything in our collection. We do not weed because we are a depository and an archives. So this is the catalog from July 1935, and it lists the graduate students. This is the Louisiana Polytech Institute, which is now Louisiana Tech at Reston. We have this we have this catalog as early as 1899. Some of my absolute favorites are the agriculture annual reports. You can see I've got a lot. You can see I have a lot of pictures marked here. So the Vernon Parish Fair in Leesville. This is Bossier Parish exhibit at the Louisiana State Fair. This is another Caddo Parish exhibit at the Louisiana State Fair. Inside view of the agricultural department at the Vermilion Parish Fair. They're getting old, getting a little crumbly, but they're still great pictures. This is the Department of Education annual report, and we have these as early as 1857. 1857 to 1978 are online. The Department of Education came and scanned them, and then on their website, their annual report from 1979 to pretty much current, they have that online. So it gives the treasurer's report for each of the parishes for the school system, statistical report on the state of the schools, how many are there, their race, their gender, total numbers. So we have high access by researchers with items in our annual reports. And we try to have 2 copies so 1 copy can circulate. And I think that is it for the tour of items in the Louisiana department. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed giving this for you. And I would like to thank my videographer, Samuel Ayers, who has taped this for us. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.